Hello everyone, welcome to the Cathedral Peak Challenge. Before we get going, my name's Rob and I am going to be doing the safety briefing as part of the bigger briefing. Our primary objective here is to bring you back safely. The race that you're about to run is taking place in a wilderness area. By wilderness area we mean that the only man-made intervention is the prevention of erosion. There's pretty much nothing beyond that except on the very, very upper reaches of Cathedral Peak. For the rest, you are running in totally wild terrain. That means that you're going to have to cross streams or rivers, depending on how much rain there has been, without a bridge. You're going to have to hop across and keep yourself safe. You're going to be running on terrain which may have loose ground underfoot, which first of all could cause you to stumble and fall. And secondly, on the very steep ground, could cause you to dislodge stones and rocks which might impact people below you. There are also quite a few wild animals around. There are wild creatures, there are snakes, there are baboons and a host of other animals. Take care where you put your hands, where you put your feet, especially on the scrambling bits. And especially for the people who are at the front of the pack, because when you arrive, the creatures won't yet have decided to leave. And you're the ones who are the most likely to run into them. On the route, the primary concern is the steep ground and the loose ground. There are places where a misplaced foot or a misplaced hand can result in a fatal fall if you're unlucky. So take care where you're putting your hands, take care when you're putting your feet. If you're using rocks to hold on to, test each grip before you commit your weight to it. The Drakensberg rock is basalt, it is notoriously brittle, and stuff that appears sound may not be. When you get to the upper section of the route, the last 300 vertical meters, there are a number of scramble sections. 3 of these are protected by anchor points which for the duration of the race will have fixed ropes in place. These fixed ropes have knots spaced slightly less than 1/2 meter apart to help you with your grip. And the idea here is that you use them to make progress. So don't try and scramble the rock and use the rope as a last resort, because if you come off, your chances of then successfully grabbing the rope and arresting a fall are pretty slim. And there are a couple of places where the consequences of a loss of control are fatal. When you go up the ropes and when you come down them, use the knots as places to grip. So place your hand just above the knot so that any slippage of the rope results in the knot butting up against your hand. Lean back slightly, which will allow you then to push your feet into the rock face. Put your feet flat, slightly wider apart than you normally would. Walk up the wall while pulling yourself up with your hands, going hand over hand. Don't be tempted to try and go too vertical, because what happens then is your feet slip out from underneath you. The person going uphill will always have right of way. So if you get to a rope and there's somebody who's coming up to it and you're coming down and you both reach the rope at the same time, the person coming uphill will have right of way. Obviously, if one of you is already on rope, then the person who's already on rope gets to complete their movement. If you're on a steep section, there's a very big chance of dislodging loose stones and loose rocks. Firstly, take care that you don't dislodge stuff. If you do dislodge stuff and there's somebody who is even remotely possibly in the line of fall, please shout "rock below" 2 or 3 times to get their attention. If you are on the route and you hear somebody above you shout "rock below," don't look up and go, "Huh, where?" because you're going to get a rock in the face. The idea there is get yourself as close to the mountain as you can, cover your head with your forearms and hope that the rocks bounce over you. The golden standard here is don't kick rocks off. Apart from anything else, our marshals will be at the rope points and they're really going to get upset if everyone is kicking rocks down on them. The last 20 meters or so are a scramble. It's an easy-ish scramble by my standards, just so that nobody blames me if they find it a little bit intimidating. It's an easy scramble, but The consequences of a slip or a fall there are going to be fatal. Take your time, take it easy, check every foot placement, check every hand placement before you commit your weight to them. When you're coming down the fixed ropes, make sure that your body posture is the same as when you were going up. So you're going to have your body ever so slightly leaning back, your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, feet flat against the rock wall, rope hanging between your legs. And you're going to use the knots with a controlled motion to get yourself down. So you're going to place a hand above a knot, place the lower hand above the next knot, lower yourself until your top arm is extended and then move that hand down. And you're going to do this under control. Don't be tempted to try and do this at speed. Remember that most mountaineering accidents happen on the way down. People forget that they're only halfway there and that in fact coming down is very often harder than going up because you've got to look further away for your foot placements. Just remember that whatever safety measures we may have put in place, you remain ultimately responsible for your own safety and your own decision making. I wish you the best of luck on the day of your challenge.